cross over now from the White House to Capitol Hill. You see Nikole Killion standing by there. Nikole, we saw that, and our polling shows that this was a speech for Republicans. Republicans in the room seem to love it. Help us understand how lawmakers overall are reacting to the president's speech.
Well, I think that's not unusual. Obviously, the party in power is usually the one that are celebrating the policies, celebrating the actions of the president. And so that was no different in the case of Republicans as celebrating the accomplishments of President Trump and this theme of the renewal of the American dream. But that being said, as many of these addresses often do, they fall strictly on party lines. You probably saw that very clearly in Nancy's package in terms of some of the Democrats who walked out, Congressman Al Green, as she mentioned, who had to be escorted out. And he later told reporters, he doesn't care if he has to face a punishment over this, because a point he was trying to make is that he feels that Americans were being punished by the actions of the Trump administration with respect to some of these cuts. And there is a possibility that he could be censured. In fact, Speaker Mike Johnson suggested yesterday that he believes that some members might come forward with a resolution. So that being said, Republicans feel that Democrats' behavior last night was disgraceful, but Democrats, on the other hand, are criticizing the president's speech and his actions as disgraceful. So again, as usual here on the Hill, both sides pointing fingers at the other.
And now, with the president's address out of the way, we can shift our focus to the next, I don't want to say crisis, but there is a looming government shutdown, which could cause wrinkles all over the place. Where do we stand with that?
Yeah, and that finger pointing is very much in play with respect to a potential shutdown. I mean, look, right now, both sides are in a stalemate. They're deadlocked as far as a path forward. Speaker Mike Johnson has indicated that he does want to perhaps move forward with some type of year-long continuing resolution, which would be a short-term funding bill. That wasn't really the initial objective of congressional leaders and appropriators. They were hoping that they could get some type of deal on top-line spending so that they could pass appropriations bills through regular order, which is something they have been trying to do for years. But since they just can't get there, then they might have to do another temporary patch. But right now, Democrats really don't want to do that. They are concerned that, this is just going to be an extension and allow potentially, for instance, someone like an Elon Musk to continue with these strict, sharp cuts. They want guarantees that the money that Congress allocates is going to get used, is going to get spent, isn't going to get clawed back. So Republicans don't want to offer that type of guarantee. So again, you have both sides really at odds over this with no clear resolution or vote in sight.
All right, we'll keep watching closely. Nikole Killion, thank you so much.